the effort to rescue a pair of Center City window washers who are stuck high above the street. Let's go live on the action cam to reporter John Rollins for the very latest. John?
Well, Monica, you're looking at a live picture right now, the Penn Mutual building at 5th and Market. You're also looking at a picture at about the 18th floor. About 45 minutes ago, calls went out that two window washers were stuck in their scaffold there, that they were doing their job, washing the windows of the Penn Mutual Tower, when apparently the electric motor that controls the gondola or the device they're in stalled for whatever reason. We're not sure. Rescue units were called, and they are now working. You can see probably at the rooftop level about a dozen rescue/firefighters that are there. These are people from the heavy rescue unit of the city of Philadelphia. It's our understanding they just threw a line down to the gentleman that they are going to rappel down the side of the building and try to aid them and to help them come up and get them up out of that area. Apparently the windows will not open at this point. It's our understanding that the pair worked for a company known as the Supreme Window Washing Company. It's a Center City firm. They were doing their job. Must have been a routine day, a pretty day to wash windows, and this trouble occurred. They seem to be in no visible signs of distress, so we presume there's not really an emergency situation in the sense that they just can't move, though, and that's what the firefighters are going to hopefully clear up for them shortly. We'll keep you posted as it goes on through the next half hour or so. I'm John Rollins, live on the action cam in Center City.
All right, John. Get on our big story this noon, those window washers who are stranded high above Center City. Let's go to John Rollins now. He's live on the action cam with the update. John.
Well, Robin, real quickly, the two window washers who were stranded at the 18th floor of the Penn Mutual Tower at 5th and Walnut have been joined by a third person, a fire rescue worker who rappelled down. We should be seeing some videotape here about 5 minutes ago. It was 11 minutes after the hour or thereabouts. He came down the line very carefully and has now joined them. And it is our understanding the plan is they will now take each of the rescue workers, put a sling around them, and one by one will haul them up the 2 or 3 floors they need to get to the roof. And they will effect their rescue there. They do not seem to be in any trouble other than, as we mentioned earlier today, what happened apparently is they were doing their job, washing the windows at the Penn Mutual Tower. Apparently the motorized derrick or lift that they use apparently is now inoperative, so they were stuck there. And so, in effect, what we're waiting for is to watch them be pulled up there by the rescue workers from the Philadelphia Fire Department. And that is the situation right now. We are still waiting for that rescue. I'm John Rollins, live on the action cam in Center City.
All right. And John Rollins live in Center City, where I understand one of those window washers has been rescued. Another is about to come up. John?
That is correct, Robin. One is up safely. They were able to haul the gentleman up about the 3 stories from where he has been suspended in that window washer basket for, well over an hour now. And we should have some videotape we should be able to show you here of the last few minutes. It was slow going. I can honestly say it went much slower than we had anticipated. It took about 6 minutes to go up those 3 stories because as they pulled him up along the rescue lines, he began to twist a bit. Particularly as they got up there near the top where there's sort of an indentation where there is a glass, apparently the top floor of the Penn Mutual Tower. They had a little problem, so it went very slowly, and they very gingerly brought him up, but it was successful. And so now they are about to, and as we cut back to a live picture, I think you can probably see they are about to bring up the second window washer at this point. It's a very slow process, but so far it's been a very successful and a very safe one. I'm John Rollins, live on the action cam in Center City.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. Topping Newsbeat at this hour. Danger and drama high above the streets of Center City, Philadelphia. A difficult rescue operation develops when 2 men become trapped on a platform. It happened at the Penn Mutual Insurance Company building across the street from Independence Hall. 2 window washers became stranded on the 18th floor when their motorized platform stalled. Then suddenly their cables began to give way. A Philadelphia firefighter risked his life rappelling from the side of the building, reaching for the stranded workers. One at a time, they're hoisted up to the roof. Afterwards, they tell us what went through their minds during the ordeal.
I'm shaking now. I'm shaking now. You know, I'm shaking now. Maybe for thankfulness or I don't know.
Relieved, and I feel like a new man. And I'm going home and say my private devotions.
Later, at the heart of the matter, you'll hear from the rescuer who put his own life on the line to save the stranded men. What would motivate someone to risk a climb on the outside of a slippery high-rise on a very windy Philadelphia day? A rescuer's tale of bravery coming up at the heart of the matter. Controversial hotel queen Leon Webster describes it as a descent down a sheer facing by means of a double rope belayed above and arranged around the climber's body so they can control the descent. Right here in Philadelphia, fire department rescuers are specially trained to rappel from skyscrapers. At the heart of the matter, KYW3's Barbara Monaco with the rescuer who used those skills today to save a pair of stranded window washers.
You do have enough rope.
The 18th floor of the Penn Mutual building, more than 200 feet above ground. You're watching the dramatic rescue as a firefighter lowers himself to the scene. Stuck on the scaffolding below, 2 window washers who found themselves stranded when their motorized scaffolding stopped working and its cables started to unravel.
The cables were about to pop on us, and like Batman, he came and saved us.
The Batman who rappelled to the rescue is 39-year-old Bob Snyder, a Philadelphia firefighter for the past 15 years. He joined the heavy rescue unit when it was formed a year ago, precisely because of challenges like this.
It wasn't as fun as it looked.
No. What was it like for you?
What was it like for me?
Yeah.
It was exciting. It's what I joined the company for.
Experiencing a little excitement of their own, window washers Adolph Goodman and Gary Brooks. Were you scared?
A little bit. We had our moments, but we sat up there and we try not to panic, so...
And what's good about it, we had a walkie-talkie from the building.
So you could talk to somebody.
So we talked to them, yes.
Were you panicked?
Your cable and what was wrong?
Well, I have kids. I have kids.
Once on the scaffold himself, Snyder had to attach the men to the rescue equipment. That is, after they welcomed him with open arms. The firefighter that came to the rescue. When you saw him, you said what?
I'm first.
I tied a full body harness on him and attached another line to that. So he had 2 lines on him at all times. Now the second guy, I actually had to put a manufactured harness on, but that had a backup line on, a backup D-ring on it. So we put 2 lines on that and we hauled him back up. Because this was, you know, over 20 stories, I guess it is, and they were around the 18th floor, it's a lot easier for us to bring them up 2 floors than to bring them down 18.
Once the window washers were safe and sound, Snyder chose a different route, rappelling down the building instead of up. We wondered why.
Oh, what, do you want the truth?
Yeah.
This way I don't have to take the equipment up.
Think he'd have been just a little bit scared? Not a chance.
I wished it was One Liberty Place.
Well, firefighters say that this is the first high-angle rescue of its type that they've performed so far. And Bob Snyder stresses that although the attention was focused on him today, it's really quite a team effort.
It is. He sounds like he's ready to go bungee cord jumping.
Washer's job became all too clear today for 2 workers who were stuck high above Center City, Philadelphia. They hung outside the 18th floor of the Penn Mutual building at 5th and Walnut as the lunchtime crowd below looked on. Adolph Goodman and Gary Brooks work for the Supreme Janitorial Service Company. They stopped their scaffold when they noticed cables starting to unravel. A special high-rise fire rescue team came down from the roof within an hour or so. The men were safe, and investigations underway to find out why those cables came so close to causing a disaster.
Philadelphia became a very frightening perch today for 2 window washers who got stuck high above Center City streets. Now, the problems for Adolph Goodman and Gary Brooks began 18 floors up at the Penn Mutual building at 5th and Walnut Streets. The men radioed for help after stopping the platform when they realized that the unthinkable was happening. The cables were unraveling. A special high-rise fire rescue team arrived and came down from the roof to rescue the men after about an hour or so. Goodman says the noise of the splitting cable is not something he wants to hear ever again.
Yeah, it was unraveling. It was a brand new cable. We don't know how it just started to unravel. It started to snap.
Well, an investigation is underway to determine why the cables on the new scaffold equipment snapped. Here's the latest from Chicago.
It was today of 2 window washers at the Penn Mutual building across from Independence Hall. It was a very close call.
The cables were about to pop on us, and like Batman, he came and saved us. Amen.
Window washer Adolph Goodman says the cables holding the scaffold he and Gary Brooks were standing on were brand new, yet were unraveling before their eyes, 18 floors above 5th and Walnut. Batman in this case, firefighter Robert Snyder, literally dropped in to their rescue. He brought with him special body harnesses, rescue lines, and a deadpan sense of humor.
It wasn't as fun as it looked.
No.
It was lunchtime when Goodman and Brooks radioed they were in trouble. A reason to try to move might sever the cable. As those from the ground watched, the fire department's unique heavy rescue unit went to work. Snyder rappelled from the roof. Within minutes, the trapped window washers were pulled up, one at a time. It was a slow process.
The lines was a little tangled, and they had to untangle the line.
When it was finished, Snyder took the express down, not up, to where his colleagues waited. Why?
What, do you want the truth?
Yeah.
This way I don't have to take the equipment up.
Safe on the ground, Goodman and Brooks quickly found their rescuer.
Thanks a lot.
No problem, guys.
This was the heavy rescue unit's first high-rise rescue. A year ago, when the unit was formed, critics said it was an unnecessary extravagance. Certainly tonight, these two men are glad it was around. John Rollins, Channel 6, Action News.
In Walnut Streets today in Center City, Philadelphia, window washers Adolph Goodman and Gary Brooks were in trouble because one of the cables holding their scaffolding was unraveling before their eyes. The fire department's new heavy rescue unit arrived on the scene, and firefighter Robert Snyder was lowered down to bring the window washers up, one at a time. When everyone was safe and sound on the ground, Goodman and Brooks got to shake the hand that saved them. A simple thanks a lot, no problem, guys, and the episode was over.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Arthur Fennell.
And I'm Diane Allen.
And here's our top story tonight. A high-rise hair raiser. Two window washers trapped on the side of a Center City skyscraper, 18 floors up, dangling by a thread. Channel 10's Tim Lake reports on the drama in the sky.
Adolph Goodman and Gary Brooks hang on for their lives outside the 18th floor of the Penn Mutual Life building.
Well, he and I were coming down off the building, and the cable were about to pop.
It was unraveling.
Goodman and Brooks keep their cool. They call for help on the radio. Rescue 1 of the Philadelphia Fire Department climbs to the roof. Fireman Bob Snyder rappels down to the wayward washers. The noon Center City lunch crowd cranes their necks. One by one, the two men are pulled to safety.
They were glad to see me. I tell you what, I thought they were really calm considering the situation.
Were they in any danger at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, the cable started to deteriorate. How long it would have taken before the whole thing went, you know, I don't know.
Not knowing when that cable might pop. Not knowing that, yes, that was a mental danger. But physically, we was on our safety lines.
The window washers did not get hurt, although they were a little bit nervous when they got down. They did get the rest of the day off. As for the rescue team, they've done more than a dozen of these over the past year, and this was one of the more dramatic rescues for them. Tim Lake, Channel 10 News.
Two window washers stranded high above the ground today as their safety cable unravels, leaving them dangling some 300 feet in the air. It happened during the noon hour today at the Penn Mutual building at 5th and Walnut, and the rescue drew quite a crowd. Adolph Goodman and Gary Brooks called for help on their radio. The Philadelphia Fire Department's heavy rescue unit set up a line and sent one fireman down from the roof for the rescue.
It was a relief to know that firemen were there when we needed them.
I'll tell you, it's dangerous. Going over 20 stories is dangerous. So, and it really doesn't matter, you know. 1 story or 20 stories, you fall, you're going to kill yourself.
The window washers got the afternoon off to calm their nerves. The fire department says this was one of their more dramatic rescues. I think so.
I'll bet it was. I talked to those guys. They were nervous, believe me, even after all that. Even in this gorgeous weather, Herb.
Window washing turned into high drama. Two workers found themselves 18 stories up at the Penn Mutual building at 5th and Walnut Streets. The motorized scaffold broke. Firefighters were called to the scene about 11:15 this morning. 2 hours later, they pulled the workers to safety by rope. No injuries and no word on why the motor failed.